Where she, yeah, that's where she put it.
Did she?
I know, I couldn't believe
I'll
it.
find that again. No,
That's what I thought. And I lost my watch. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Your Manchester with me, Miss Belinda Scandal.
And me, Mr. Mark Llewellyn.
How's your week been?
Well, a busy week, and I can't believe we're already in February.
I can't believe it.
No.
I can't believe today is the 3rd of full-on February. The 3rd day of February already.
I know, we were very busy last night, weren't we?
It's been non-stop.
Yes, we were at the Lowry.
At the Lowry, that was good fun, wasn't it?
Yes, the things Kim Woodburn said. Well, I mean, we can't talk about it. We have to wait till later on in the show.
Well, we will be showing it. We're going to have to show a little clip because we're going to have to share it with all our lovely people in Belarus because they'll not fully believe exactly what she said.
Well, she's very big in the Urals.
Right. So, what else have we got on tonight's extravaganza?
Well, we're going to be talking to some fabulous comedians.
Comedian Central today, isn't it?
Yes, we are.
Two of my favourites, though, I have to say.
Yes, Stuart Laws.
Stuart Laws and Jazzy Emu.
Yes.
Absolutely fantastic.
Yes.
Funny people.
Good double out there. Laws and Emu.
Laws and Emu.
Or Emu and Laws.
Or Rod Hull and Emu.
Yeah, whatever happened there?
Well, I don't know, but
Emu threw him off a roof.
Yeah, he didn't get good reception.
No.
That was the problem. So, listen, we've got a lovely show lined up for you.
We have.
Listen, I've got to talk to you about something, if you don't mind.
Please, get it off your chest.
It's a big chest to get it off, but I'm going to get it off anyway. Something's bothering me ever so slightly, and I want to bring it up to you. In fact, it's almost making me want to put my sensible glasses on.
Go on then, it's a topical debate, is it?
I can't get them out of the bag. We'll leave them for later.
Have these ones instead.
I'll put them on.
Yes.
So, what I'd like to talk to you about.
Oh, that's good.
Thank you. Was that a good transformation?
Yes, like Marge Poops.
Doris in continuity is having a fit now. Social media.
Yes, I've heard of it.
Yes. Do you like social media? Do you use it a lot?
I only use what's it called now? X.
Twitter. Yeah, Twitter X.
One. Yes, Twex.
Twix.
That could have been a good
Missed a
name.
trick there, haven't they? Yeah, because it requires two fingers.
Nothing.
Yes, exactly.
It does.
So you use that.
That's the only one I. Oh, and then WhatsApp.
What's up? Yeah.
Yes.
You like that? Is that classed as social media? Is that?
No, probably not. Because I don't.
No.
So I'm only on that.
Right.
But I mean, the show is everywhere.
The show is everywhere. We use Instagram. We use Twitter, X. We use Facebook. We use Tickery Talk.
Yes.
If it's still happening today.
Yes.
So we use all of them. Now, what happened with TikTok a few weeks ago? What happened with it? What was the issue with it?
So it's Chinese owned.
Right.
And there's a general feeling that it's used for harvesting information, the algorithms.
Oh.
And have you ever been grabbed by the algorithm?
Not without. No.
And so it exercises some level of control because obviously it can decide what to show you. And so because it's Chinese owned, it's sort of considered owned by the government.
Right.
And that is why the Americans decided that it.
Which government is owned by?
The Chinese government.
Oh, is it?
That's the
thought process. Right.
And so the American government decided they didn't want that level of control over their citizens.
And is that a recent thing or is that a Trumpism?
No. So what happened is it's been being considered for quite some time. They've known this. And then the government under Biden decided that they were going to outlaw it really, because what they said was it could be American owned, so they could sell it to the Americans.
Yes.
And then it could continue.
Right.
But they didn't want to. And then just before Trump came in and had his inauguration, he then said, well, he was going to look into it further, in effect.
Oh.
And that's the situation we're at the moment.
This TikTok shop as well.
TikTok shop, I've heard of this.
But this is it for me, though. If it's making revenue for people, we should be a little bit more cautious about binning it, shouldn't we?
Well, it depends, doesn't it? So I'm not saying this is what does happen, but if you say you've got control over it, it's like if you had control over it.
Yes.
So you get the algorithms which tell you what people are interested in, what people think. You're playing with people's emotions. So two of the biggest things that are on there are things like to do with animals. Yeah. And then obviously political speech and people's views, which are basically playing with emotions, aren't they?
Right.
So you then start to see things that may agree with your general thoughts or will play into that interest, so you can control people's minds
But isn't that the way we're going to be going anyway, no matter what, because of AI and everything? AI is basically, well, whether we should or shouldn't, I doubt that us as the middleman will have much control over anything.
Well, there was one of the examples given was that somebody who'd been using it because they were interested in animals and the safety of animals was then receiving videos that were showing lots of animals being rescued from perilous situations. But in actual fact, they weren't correct. They were AI generated. There were no animals and there were no dangerous situations, or animals were being put in dangerous situations in order to create the video of them being rescued.
Right. So then, as somebody's lived a good few years on this planet,
not with social media, but we had John Ball printing sets when I was young. And letter set.
Oh yeah, they were good though. Yeah, I like them. A stencil can't be a good stencil.
No, you can't.
But AI is obviously going to take over the world. I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
I can see some reasons why AI would be beneficial in things like NHS diagnoses and all that kind of stuff.
They
obviously use computers for operations and things now, don't they? And obviously you can see where AI might come in useful for that. And screening and things like that.
What about in the entertainment industry then?
Well, this is the issue. So in fact, I'll give you an example. I was contacted, so a friend who one of their family had been a famous person on television and is now died, and they were contacted by a TV company to say, do you mind if we create an AI version of your person to go back and perform on the television because we think it would be very popular? And they said absolutely not. Now, one of the things there with the entertainment business was they weren't going to offer any royalties. They were just going to take that person's likeness, recreate their voice, and write new material for them, modern material. So
they were going to put words into their mouths then?
Yes.
Oh.
So what control have you got over it? And will AI take the place of writers? We know that AI can control cameras and it can put captions on the screen and all the rest of it. So yes, I mean, that's the worry, isn't it? Is that it replaces, and then we could be AI generated ourselves, couldn't we?
Well, yeah.
Your Manchester could say to us...
Wouldn't you agree that animation was an early form of AI anyway?
Well, absolutely, yeah.
Just a very laboured way of putting it out there, isn't it?
Yes.
Something that definitely isn't AI is the wonderful comedians that we're about to get in this wonderful, wonderful fair city. And two of them are on our show today.
Yes, indeed. Well, shall we go and have a look at one now? Because you, earlier today, met a comedian who is coming to the Lowry, and that is Jazz Emu.
Well, today we've been talking to a fantastic collection of comedians, and one none shining so brighter than our next guest. This is Jazz Emu. Welcome to the show, Jazz. Or do we refer to you by your non-character name? How would you prefer?
I'm currently as Archie Henderson, but I could always do the voice if you'd appreciate that. I could do Jazz Emu.
I'm going to have to get into this. Where did this character come from? This character is just amazing.
I think he's from deep in the recesses of my soul, a very dark place. Yeah, he's a sort of narcissistic, obsessive, deluded 70s musician who's got a lot of problems, and I'm sort of letting that come out of my soul somehow, I think.
So you're bringing us this brand new, fantastic show, A Knight's Tale, which we're very excited about. Tell us all about it.
So the concept of the show is that Jazz Emu, the character I'm playing, is always longed to get a knighthood, and he's got this opportunity to play in front of the king at the Royal Variety Show, and he's going to give it his best shot. And during the show, he's sort of choosing the best song from his discography to wow the king and finally land that knighthood. But along the way, he kind of puts his foot in it, plays the wrong songs. They get him in a lot of trouble, and he kind of makes things worse for himself.
I think the word anarchic is what I would use for your act, because it is, from what we've seen certainly over the past few months and the build up to this, it is anarchic. It is kind of non-stop, isn't it, for yourself?
Oh yeah, it's intense. I was sort of going for, I mean, it's definitely a more is more kind of ethos. So we've got like full band, we've got big videos, we've got full lights, and I just wanted it to be a big spectacle, this show. And the character is he's about as cartoonish as you get. So yeah, wanted it a maximum capacity.
So let's talk about yourself then. Where do you herald from?
I'm from London. Yeah.
From London. And now you're managing to go all over the place with this character. As the character, would you say, have you got to that stage yet where you're sick of the character?
You know what? I think I'm always finding new weird ways to do him, and I think there's still a lot to unpack because he's so psychologically unstable. I feel like if I really dig into it, I might get more juice out of him. So every show, I'm kind of trying to push it a bit further. Yeah.
So how do you go about developing a show like this? What's the process for you building a show?
Well, this show I was sort of hoping to take on tour, which we've managed to do, which is amazing. So with this show, I was really I was trying to do a combination of bringing sort of the best of songs that I've had online and that, a lot of people will be coming to see, really picking, the best ones that I've done there and then combining that with some songs that people haven't heard before. So it's, it's kind of a varied sort of compilation show with a pretty mad plot going through it.
And you mentioned there, of course, that you are now developing this full stage routine where you've got a band. How many's in the band?
There's going to be 4 of us on tour, including myself. Yeah, so drums, bass, keys, yeah. And
I would imagine that because you're quite anarchic, do you tend to go off on a tangent, or do you always stick to what you've written?
It sort of depends. There's there's quite a lot of chaos in this show built into the show. So we've got not too many spoilers, but a friend of mine built this robot, which I kind of built into the show to kind of add a little bit of chaos, and it has proved a lot more chaotic than we thought would be. And Emily, who's on the drums, is controlling it from the back, and it's we've had a couple of hairy moments where it's like ran a little too close to the front of the stage and this sort of thing. Luckily, I have good public liability insurance.
Listen, this is coming to the Lowry. It's going to be sensational, and it's coming on the 17th of February. For people that are, hovering over their credit card, picking out which shows to go and watch, why come watch your show?
I think it's hopefully like a show that no one's seen for a long time. I think it's like combining a lot of different elements. It's got this full band. It's so visually impressive, and we've got, I think the variety is the thing that's going to make it stand out. I hope so.
It's going to be amazing. For now, though, Jazz, aka Arch. Actually, let's have our Jazz appear again and get him to sign off from our lovely show. If you could just say thanks for watching Your Manchester, that'd be lovely. Thank you.
Your Manchester, Helly, it really has. It's been truly a pleasure and a privilege to be hanging out with you tonight. I hope to catch you soon.
Looks good, doesn't it? Looks very, very good. I'll tell you what else is doing very, very well at the moment.
Yes.
Comedians.
Absolutely.
It seems to be the year for comedians.
Well, we all need a laugh.
We do need a laugh at the moment.
That's why I work with you.
Thank you very much indeed. And one comedian that's took our eye over the last few months is a gentleman called Stuart Laws, and he's joining us in studio now. Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
You've got a wonderful show coming up. Stuart Laws has to be joking.
Yeah, he has to be at this point.
Yes.
I'm too old to not be joking by this point.
And I look at the press release, and the first thing that jumps out at me is it's going to feature pigs and out of place horses.
Yeah.
Tell us more.
Right, so one time I was hanging out with friends and when conversation lulls.
Yes.
And I'm I had a panic of oh, I feel like, I don't know if you ever feel the pressure, you probably feel it.
Yes.
Probably not so much.
Yeah.
I've got to lead the conversation.
No, I'm not allowed to.
No. And I just panicked and just went, what's the biggest pig you can imagine?
Yeah.
And it sparked an hour-long conversation. Yes. And then I realised that I am someone who struggles with small talk, but I am good at those sort of big hypothetical
And why do you think
questions.
it is that you struggle with small talk then?
That's called autism.
Yeah. So tell us more about that then. When were you first diagnosed with that?
I was diagnosed just over a year ago, which considering I'm 40 now, that's quite old to sort of find something like that out about yourself.
And what made you want to get diagnosed at such a late age then?
So it'd always been a thing that was simmering in the background, where you're oh yeah, you do the tests online, and you're yeah, I'm always scoring high, but they're just online tests. Yeah. And you just sort of don't really think about it that much. And also the conversation was never that big about it, was it? It was just, and then over the last few years, obviously that conversation has developed, which is good. And then a few friends got diagnosed, and they said to me, I think you have a lot of the clinical features of it. Yeah. And so I was okay, I'll investigate. But I was always it's not a big thing, and then you find out, you get confirmed that you are, and you're like, oh, it is a big thing, because it suddenly makes sense of so many of your behaviors, and it also contextualizes them in a way that you're like, oh, that is different to how other people are doing things. And I didn't realize that I was always slightly fighting those battles, but sort of to myself.
So if there is people that are watching this then, around about our age group,
40 years old.
something like that, that are thinking maybe they have got autism. I mean, what would they be, what was it in you that you thought, perhaps, you know, I've got to get checked out, perhaps tested and, you know, get the result?
So an interesting thing was a friend said to me when I was chatting about it, they said, oh, you're not autistic because you can maintain eye contact. And I said, just completely offhand, oh yeah, I taught myself that when I was a teenager. And my autistic friend leant over and went, can I have a quick word? And it was like, that was one of the things that he had developed. Right, and it was like, then I go through it and there's this behavior sort of schema called masking, where you learn the behaviors of neurotypical people so that you can blend in more. And eye contact is one of those things. And I remember reading like books and articles and things like that to do with body language and things, and about how people communicate. And I remember teachers sort of talking to me, teaching myself to like look them in the eye, because that's what people want, and being like, oh, that's now making me fit in more normally. But in my head as a teenager, I just was like, I'm just like someone who doesn't like eye contact, whatever. And obviously you can be neurotypical and not like eye contact, but it's like, you know, when you get all of these different things together, it's sort of, you know, there is a neurological difference, and it sort of comes together to form things. But I've always had like noise and smell sensitivities and things like that, and it's just something that I'd always just sort of accepted as part of my life and what everyone else had. And then as you go along and you find out, like, I love football, I'm a Spurs fan, so us and Man United having the season of our lives at the moment. But I would realise that I wanted to go, but when I get there, I would find it incredibly stressful. And now I can contextualise that and be like, oh, it's the sounds, it's the, you know, the environment that's unpredictable, and not being able to sort of feel comfortable in that space.
And yet, as a stand-up comedian,
you
what?
I stand in front of bright lights with unpredictable noises happening. Yeah.
But the bright lights I always find are handy, because you don't have to look at audience then.
That is great. Genuinely is a real nice.
But you can't see them anyway.
No, absolutely, which is lovely, isn't it? And then you find out no one was there in the first place.
Just for my show, not for yours, not for yours, for mine.
But that thing of which we all get, that thing of forcing yourself to go on stage, you kind of, it's almost like being naked there, you're on your own, you've got all those people looking at you. It is almost the opposite that you would expect from somebody with autism, isn't it?
Yeah, it is interesting. I've been asked it before, when I just assumed I was an introvert and that's what it was, like, and that, you know, you can be an introvert and autistic, and it can all sort of, you know, scaffold up. But I was like, oh, being on stage is my chance to sort of, there is a fourth wall. I'm playing a character.
Yes.
Right.
And that's my projection of all these things I want to talk about, but I am not myself. And now, knowing that I'm autistic, that line has disappeared a bit more, where I'm like, being on stage gives me the permission to say these things, but I am more myself on stage than I've ever been. And I'm actually like rewriting routines that I wrote before I knew I was autistic that turns out to be like autistic observations.
So you're almost celebrating it then?
Yeah, and it feels like genuinely, you know, I've had like an increase in like fans or audience who are like neurodiverse, and it genuinely has been like quite a nice thing to be able to like be like, it's connecting with these people and it's giving them like something to like enjoy, because I'm you know, the show that I'm touring is to do with the being autistic a bit, but it's mainly about relationships, and that's something that I find fascinating. And it's like my relationship with myself changed, my relationship with friends, audiences, and like romantic relationships changed because of this, and I think that's something that everyone can connect to.
Ivy called it Has to Be Joking. What's the...
So the show before was called Stuart Lord's Is That Guy Still Going?
Right.
And it was like a little like nod to the fact that, you know, I'm getting on in comedy years, and I'm still not like a big TV name, but like I'm still, you know, doing it, enjoying it.
So is that something you'd like to break into then, the television side of it?
Yeah, and it's like, you know, I've done little bits here and there, and I work with a bunch of, behind the scenes stuff on it.
Yeah, because we should say the people that you have worked with. I mean, my favourite of all time is James Acaster. He is just
He's fantastic.
funny bones.
Yeah.
Very funny bones. I mean, this goes, and you've got Nish Kumar, Rosie Jones as well.
Yeah.
I mean, how the stuff you're giving them, secretly, do you want to hold it back for yourself?
So it depends on different ones. Like, it would be weird if I started doing Rosie Jones's material.
Yes, I suppose so.
Not really going to work. That, is it?
No.
But like today, I'm working on Ed Gamble's special. I'm directing Ed Gamble's special at the Lowry,
Right.
Which is very, very exciting. And working with these people is like inspiring because they're all such great comedians, and they are in some way trusting me to work on their shows in whatever capacity. Yeah. And it feels nice to sort of be like, oh, good, like my peers respect me enough to be like, we think you
Well, this is echoing very much, going back to the 80s. Cannon and Ball, there was a guy called Sid Green.
Yes, that's
And he
right.
wrote all the stuff for Cannon and Ball.
Yeah.
And he, he was trying his hand at the being on stage and everything, but actually it worked better for him, and he felt more of a pat on the back seeing them succeed with the stuff that he'd basically put into their mouths.
Yeah. Well, I'm putting less in their mouths.
Yes.
And, it's important to be clear about that in the industry as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm putting nothing in no one's mouth.
Right.
I'm not your act.
It's ruined if I didn't do that.
That's the only way she gets good reviews.
It's true. And if they don't like saying they're in the canal. Thursday, the 20th of March, and this is going to be at the Fairfield Social Club. Now, this venue is getting more and more attention
Yes, and
every
a lot of
single...
people
Yeah.
appearing there, haven't they?
I don't think it's fair to call it just a social club anymore. I feel it needs to be something better for it, because it's
If it works for them.
Well, true.
They
True.
never asked us to appear there, so...
No, we'll call it the Fairfield Club, because that sounds posher, doesn't it? The Fairfield Club.
Yes.
Sounds very 20s.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yes.
The Fairfield Club.
Yeah.
I've just done marketing for them there for free. Thank you very much. So, in a nutshell, why should people come and watch this show?
If you like comedy, if you like that, it's like observational with like a slightly surreal, slightly odd twist to it. And I guess crucially, you should come along if you're polite and nice.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
We'll stay at home.
I'll happily play a bear pit, but if I'm trying to do a show where I'm also talking about being autistic, it's going to be a nightmare to have to deal with, drunken hecklers.
Yeah.
But I'll do it if you insist.
Yes. I think it's important, yes. Because you're at a social club.
Yes, absolutely.
Then there'll be pie and peas and a bit of bingo.
And a bit of bingo,
Exactly.
yes, and a meat raffle.
And a meat
At the
raffle.
end.
A meat raffle.
Yes.
You've just described my other venues now, haven't you? Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for your time today. We are looking... Well, we simply couldn't let this one pass. It's an exhibition and a wonderful creation of just... It's fabulous. To tell us more about this, please welcome Zoe Watson. Hello, Zoe. How are you?
Hi, I'm very good. Thanks for having me on.
Now, we know this is coming to an end on the 16th of this month, but we've not told anybody about this, and having seen it, we are giddy about it. So perhaps tell us all about this wonderful creation that you've got going on.
Sure. So we've got this exhibition in our contemporary galleries called Local, National, International. And it's called that because it's 3 exhibitions in one by 3 ceramics artists, a local, a national and an international artist. So we have Alia Hussein, Paloma Proudfoot and Renee So. And they've each done some amazing things with their ceramics in our gallery spaces.
So what have they done then? I mean, it's difficult to explain, I know, because we need to see them, but I mean, just try and give us a flavour of what, these ceramics are.
Sure, of course. So I invited each of them to have a solo presentation of their work. So this was an opportunity for them to show a body of work or a brand new piece of work. They all work in ceramics, and the reason I approached each artist is because I think they do amazing things with ceramics. They're really pushing what's possible to do with clay and ceramics. So you've got these kind of really amazing installations. It's not just ceramics that are on plinths or shelves. We've got ceramics that are surrounding you. We've got sound, and so it really feels quite immersive and exciting.
It definitely does, because when you're in there, you're kind of embodied by this whole atmosphere. Yes, you've got the various bits of, I'm going to call them art, because just when I think of ceramics, I think of bowls, I think of template, and it's so much more than that. So when you are in this exhibition, you are immersed. I think that's a true word. How important for you is it to get that immersive feeling correct?
Yeah, really important. I'm my background is in contemporary art, but I love working in a gallery that's in the Lowry, because you have this amazing, interdisciplinary nature of art, but also live performance, live art. And so I'm interested in bridging all of those together. And so to be able to kind of present art that is activated in some way, or really, feels like it's telling a story, or it's dramatized in some way. And so I'm thinking specifically about Alia Hussain's work, which is the gallery in front of you. And, it's really sort of transformed into this immersive environment where you're kind of surrounded by these amazing ceramics.
How do you go about creating something like this? I mean, they're two-dimensional pieces of work, but when you're in there, and I use the word time and time again, what's the process for you?
Sure. Well, so for all three artists, they're artists that I've been following for years and years. Alia, I've been working with for the last 10 years. But to be able to invite them to come in and have their own show in their own gallery space gives them an opportunity to kind of push the way they've shown their work before. So really be ambitious in presentation. And so, that's where I see my role, to kind of help facilitate that. We work with technicians on how to show their work in a way that they've always wanted to. But then when it comes to installing the work, the artists are they're kind of really well experienced now with how to literally hang the work on the walls. So, Paloma's work, it's all pieced together almost like a puzzle on the wall. So that comes with years and years of developing their work. And then, I come in and help support however way I can.
So how much is it, their vision? How much is it your vision, or is it a good split?
Yeah, I'd say it's a mixture, but I mean, really, I want the artist to be able to develop an idea. They usually come with an idea for an exhibition, or something that's been interesting them for a long time, and then I'm there to help shape it, help. Be able to tell those stories or those ideas to a broader audience. So it pretty much always starts with the artists, their interests and ideas, and then I come in and help.
Now, this is coming to an end, unfortunately, on the 16th of this month. Are you able to tell us what's going to be next for you, and indeed for this particular gallery?
Do you know, I can't quite yet. It's our big 25th year this year at the Lowry, and so there's all sorts of really exciting stuff happening in the galleries and across the building, and that's all to be announced next week. So unfortunately,
so we got you on a week too early, or almost a week too late for the previous exhibition, didn't we?
Yes, yeah, that's true. We're out of sync.
You know what we'll have to do? We'll have to get you back on.
Please do.
I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll go one step further, because I think these interviews are all very well and good, but actually to immerse ourselves and our viewers in there, I think we should come to you.
Do you know, that would be great. I'd love to show you around the galleries.
We'd love to see it as well. But for now, though, Zoe, we are out of time. But thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you. See you soon.
Yes.
Last night, I saw you with rubber gloves. I saw you with a sink plunger. I saw you with a bottle of Harpic. What on earth?
Well, we've been trying to do these beautiful interviews with people, haven't we?
Yes.
And I say people because it was so lovely not just to have, of course, our main guest, but to have an audience.
Yes.
As well.
A
live audience. 180 of them there on the night.
Yes, this was at the Lowry.
At the Lowry. At the Lowry. At Lowry.
Yes.
Fully enjoying our conversation with the wonderful Miss Kim Woodburn. And she didn't let us down.
Oh, she was revelatory.
She was revelatory. Now, because we charged a fair bit of money to come and watch her.
Oh, I thought they were paying to watch us, and she just happened to be there.
Not really.
Oh.
Just to bring it to you. So because of that, we're not showing the full experience. No, because that wouldn't be fair.
You have to be there.
Because I remember when Coronation Street, they brought out a cruise ship episode that was only meant to be available on video, and then 2 weeks later it came out on telly. I was seething because I had ordered it for HMV.
I remember that very well.
Yes, not on that, not on.
No.
But so we are going to be nice and just show you a few minutes. Well, this is part of it.
Part of it.
Yes.
While we watch that, I'm going to just get this down the plug hole.
I've never been called that before. Please welcome the iconic Kim Woodburn.
My name's Kim Woodburn. You'll know me, I am the Queen of Clean. You're all smiles, then you
Come to her, and I'm telling you
Mother
now.
Bunny, Mother Bunny.
Sit down. You
No,
are
no,
so rude.
No. You want trouble,
No.
you've got it.
I don't want trouble.
Yes, you do,
I
Nicole.
don't want trouble.
You're
I
causing all this.
This
Sit
is
down.
Big
You're in
Brother
the middle of...
diary room immediately.
You
I
will
think-
never get the better of me.
I don't want to.
You will
I
never.
don't want to. You're an old lady, and I respect that. Move on.
How dare you tell
Do
me
you know
how I
Do you
must
know
behave?
what? I feel sorry for you.
Oh, I'm
I
sorry
feel
for you,
sorry.
pathetic little
Shush.
girl.
I feel sorry for you.
You're not getting one over on me. Every time there's arguments, the girls bring your name up. Give
You
up.
want this from
Give
me.
up. You horrible, horrible girl.
Yes.
I see. She didn't disappoint, did she?
No, she
She
did
was
not.
very, very good.
Yes.
And we are going to be doing another one, an audience with scenario. Very,
Well, I
very
was
soon.
going to say, if you missed that and you can see what it was like at a flavour, you will need to keep in touch so that you come along. So
Yes. So going back to what we were talking about.
Yes.
Add us on all the social media, and we'll algorithmically get your info and
Yes.
send you a message.
Absolutely.
Isn't that the way it works?
Something like that.
I don't know. I don't know. But for today, though, we are now out of time.
No, surely
Honestly,
not.
we are, and I know we are because I'm over it. So,
Well,
thanks
it was a late night,
It's a late night, I know, and I've only just got back from France as well, you know.
I know you have. You've been somewhere and somebody else has been somewhere. Who knows what's going
But
on?
we're here, and we're back next week, everybody, on Manchester's #1 talk show, the one, the only, Your Manchester.